Well, Jess, a week ago we were down in LA, had a week off. We're up here in San Jose, Silicon Valley. This area is so winning. Love it up here. No?
BJ, I think we've ridden the Charlie Sheen thing long enough. That was last month's news. We don't want to be tired talking about stuff that happened like 2 weeks ago now. We have to talk about what's happening now.
All right. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So
And
what's happening now?
What's happening now is the NCAA basketball tournament is happening now. So,
All right.
we're going to capitalize on that today with our show, Bay 101 Madness, with Jess and BJ. All right. NCAA tournament, big March tradition. Bay 101, kind of a March poker tradition.
Yes.
But before we talk about Bay 101, business to attend to.
Settling up?
Indeed. On the LAPC final table, I was the champion, second event running. LA was a good destination for me, went winner.
Chicken dinner.
We did it again. Charlie Sheen reference. We have to ban winning from the show's vocabulary.
Yeah, that's going to be tough in tournaments.
We'll work on it.
And
Anyways,
the not second place finisher.
one thing you were victorious in was the other over-under for the final table.
How many hands before
For
a
a
bust
bust.
out?
The line was like 30.
36. I think Daryl Fish went out 31st,
Yeah,
31st
it was in
hand.
the vicinity. Nice job, Bookie.
Good line,
I know you're
but-
busy with the March Madness, but good job, Bookie.
But once again, we have nothing to settle up because we forgot to bet something.
Well, pride is on the line, which I think is more important than anything else. So, all right.
Well, you can have all my pride. I pride you.
That sounds wrong. Moving on to the Bay 101. In between setting all those basketball game lines, the bookie did give us an over-under for today. How many chips the chip leader is going to have at the end of day 1A? Remember, there are two
Yes.
starting days here. Day 1A chip leader is going to have how many chips, BJ?
The bookies set the line at 175,000. They start with 30,000 in chips. Play 10 one-hour levels today.
I think that if LAPC taught us anything, it's that the Matt Savage structure is slower and gives people more room to maneuver. They take less chances. It's going to be a slow build for whoever the chip leader is, and it'll be under.
But see, this is a different Matt Savage structure. Day one has 1 hour levels, not 90-minute levels. They play a lot on day one. There's going to be a lot of action. Plus, the chip leader at the end of the day gets a $5,000 bonus.
Yes.
On day 1A and day 1B. And because of that, the players who are near the chip lead at the end tend to get more aggressive, trying to claim that, and some of them will drop, some of them will go higher, and I think one of them will finish above 175,000.
It remains to be seen. We will know more tomorrow.
No, I know I've locked this one up.
Okay.
Even though we're only betting pride, I will win my pride back.
All right. Have fun with that. The end of day chip lead is just one of the few little quirks that makes this tournament a lot of fun and one of the players' favorites. Some of the other
And media favorites.
Some of the other quirks, we've got bounties in the field.
Every table will have at least one bounty at it, a shooting star.
Yes, the Bay 101 Shooting Star tournament has shooting star bounties, $5,000 on their head
Plus a t-shirt that says,
Signed.
I busted so-and-so.
with their face.
And the
a
player
star.
actually has to sign it. My favorite was Eric Lindgren busting men win and wearing the t-shirt
Yes.
the following year.
Getting the signings. My favorite was last year after Phil Hellmuth fell on the floor when the ace on the river
Final
from Andy
table.
Seth knocked him out in sixth place at the final table. And then Matt Savage had to kind of gingerly bring the shirt to him and be like,
Salt, meat,
by
wound.
the way, we're going to need you to sign that. It's had a lot of really good winners in the past. We had McLean Carr last year.
Well, Shooting Star has never won.
Yes.
They try to get the biggest names as the Shooting Stars, but they don't always get them all.
But we still get good winners. You know, McLean was an unknown from Bay 101, but in the past year, he took that victory and kind of ran with it and
came
had a really
center
good
stage.
year. Steve Brecker, the year
Ted
before,
Force.
Brandon Cantu, in perhaps one of, if not the most dominating WPT performances ever.
On the playdown day, I want to say he won 17 hands in a row. It was just
It was
this
something
unbelievable
insane,
stretch. His bluffs were all working. Every time there was a showdown, he crushed them.
Or he just got there. That works too.
We also had Phil Gordon, the first year this was a WPT event in 2004.
And Nam Lee, one of my personal favorites.
Nam Lee.
I like him. So.
Always great guy.
All right. Last year we had 333 players. McLean Carr won. Phil Hellmuth had a meltdown. This year I think we're expecting a few more.
Yes.
We've already got over 200 people registered between the 2 starting days. And we've also got all these bounties.
Yes.
Now, part of the fun of the Shooting Star is they announce the bounties beforehand, and people like to debate in the forums who deserved a bounty, who didn't deserve a bounty. But we're gonna one up them. You ready for this?
Yeah,
This is good. All right, we're gonna take the Shooting Stars and we're gonna break them down NCAA style by seeding them.
All right.
But who really cares who like the 6 seed or the 7 seed is?
Right. We're not going to waste your time with that.
We're just doing 1 seeds in a little segment we're gonna call Brackastrology. Because they're shooting stars?
I hate astrology, though. Just
I
on
like,
principle.
I like bracketology, though. This is going to be fun. All right, so
Astrology.
of the Day 1A players, we've got a ton of really good names. They're all very good. But we have culled the top 4 for you in this brackastrology breakdown.
Number 1 seeds in the Shooting Stars.
All right, now we didn't get a chance to run over our picks beforehand.
I got
so
my
we might
picks.
have to debate this on air a little bit.
I got my picks.
All right, give me your first number 1 shooting star seed.
Phil Hellmuth. This is his
Okay.
part of town. He's, very loud, engages the table. He
Falls
if he's
on
at
the
a feature
floor.
table, he MCs the table, announces action for the crowd. He kind of makes this tournament part of what it is. He entertains, and this is the most entertaining tournament of the year.
Okay, all right, acceptable.
And quality player, final table last year.
Yes,
Can also bring it.
did do well in this one last year. I'm going to take a Phil myself as a 1 seed. I'm going Phil Ivey, though.
Predictable.
You don't have Phil Ivey as one of your number 1 seeds?
I don't. Top player, if we're seeding just on how great is this player or most likely to win, but to me, Shooting Star is kind of about engaging. When you sit down at their table, it's their table. Like Phil Hellmuth, he'll kind of run that table, control, verbally talking to people, make it a fun table. Phil Ivey, you'll just sit there and be like, wow, I'm at Phil Ivey's table, and then you'll dump all your chips.
You'll be intimidated by the presence of Phil Ivey.
But that's more like a regular tournament to me. It's not the Shooting Star quality.
Phil Ivey, to use the NCAA metaphor,
Yes.
Phil Ivey's the University of Kentucky. He's the winningest team in
Wah, wah,
college basketball
Wildcats.
history.
Wah, wah, you
He
guys.
blows out the
Wah,
SEC,
wah,
beats
wah, wah.
Florida twice in the last 3 weeks. He's not going to be some random 4 seed. That's crazy talk. Phil Ivey is 1 seed material. 1 seed, like the University of Kentucky.
Which is not a 1 seed. Thank you for backing my point. All right,
can't
your
talk
second
about
pick.
this right now.
We'll just go back to you for your second pick.
All right. I'm going to pick the hottest young player on the circuit today, Mr. Eric Seidel.
I'll give you hot. Young, no debate. Go ahead.
Eric Seidel can't lose. Granted, the $10,000 buy-in might be a little lower than what Eric Seidel has been used to spending, but
Hard for
I
him to get
say
excited at these stakes.
if you're running this well at a stop that he said is one of his favorites, how can you pick against him? Eric Seidel. And funny. You want engaging Eric Seidel. It's funny. He was on the micros. He just keeps winning everything. This is entertainment all around, total package, 1 seed.
I definitely agree. Eric Seidel is very entertaining on Twitter and close up, but I don't
And
think
that's why he's one of your number 1 seeds, too.
No, he is not on my list. I'm
What?
going to because he's not big enough personality-wise. That's where I'm going with the Shooting Stars. My number 2, big personality, Gavin Smith.
That is a big personality.
Not as elite as Eric. I win everything Seidel.
It's just so boring when you win everything,
Right.
Eric.
But-
That's why BJ didn't pick you.
But players who sit at Gavin Smith's table, generally, the non-professional players are like, man, I had so much fun. Gavin was there. Gavin gets everybody talking, gets everybody engaging, makes it a fun table
That
for
is
everyone
true. He
there
had a lot of
and
fun.
everyone nearby. To me, that's a Shooting Star. Gavin Smith also brings it because he won a WPT event. Player of the Year, season
4, I
4.
believe?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear yours.
All right, going back
your
to
next
me.
your third number 1 seed.
This one's easy. Daniel Negreanu.
Okay.
Top player, engages everyone, fan favorite. I mean, he'll have the table laughing, cracking up. He'll have the fans on the rail laughing, cracking up. He'll merge between the two. This is a perfect tournament for Daniel Negreanu to shine in all facets of his game.
I do agree. I think Daniel's playing really well. He was the bubble team for me.
All right.
He was the last one out, and in his place, I actually went with someone who's going to be making their WPT debut today.
All right.
Dan Jungleman Cates. It's a bit of an unconventional pick, especially by your standards of shooting star. But this kid has a lot of people paying attention to him, a lot of star power, and I think that he could pull a George Mason and surprise some people.
All right, and I'll give you the fans at Bay 101 are some of the most engaged anywhere on the tour. So these fans here actually may know his history and be excited to see him. So it won't be like, who's that guy in seat
for all we know, there's going to be a guy dressed as Tarzan here, ready to root him on.
As a fan.
That's how
That's what we get to hear.
The fans are. All right, and then can I go ahead with my fourth? Since
finish out your fourth.
All right, because I went young with Daniel Cates. I'm going young and experienced with my last pick, Mr. Jason Mercier, who is a basketball fan, so I think it's only appropriate that in this basketball-themed episode, despite his penchant for all things Miami, that he gets the fourth spot, running really well, really eager to win that WPT title, get the triple crown, and I think this could be the day for him, or the tournament for him, rather.
All right, valid pick, I'll give you that. My last one, possibly my most controversial, not really, Mike Mattisau. Definitely big personality.
Entertaining.
But unlike the other picks, he can be the other picks are more of, hey, everybody, let's have a good time, whereas Mike just kind of has his self-destruct meltdown thing, which is often entertaining, but in a very different way than Hellmuth or Negreanu. Hellmuth when he has a lot of chips, where they're kind of bringing everybody up. But Mattisau, anyone who sits at Mattisau's table is going to end the day with a really good story.
I will give you this. I know we differ a lot of times. I think we had different criteria for this, but your four are certainly four of the most entertaining people we're going to see in the field, and some of the more talented ones as well.
And yours definitely have a shot of winning this.
Who was your bubble guy? Was Mike Mattisau last in?
Yes, my bubble guy was Dwight Pilgrim,
whose big debut
was
on WPT last night.
Yes, and now if this tournament took place like 2 weeks after Dwight Pilgrim appeared on TV, because I think Dwight Pilgrim has superstar quality, I think he epitomizes what I view a shooting star as. If the WPT had aired early enough for him to build a little, I think he's definitely one of my number one seeds.
He's peaking too late is basically
exactly
what you're saying.
For this tournament.
Next tournament in Indiana.
He will be a shooting star. I will put a $5 bounty on him.
All right. This brings us to our question of the day, which I think is pretty obvious considering the theme.
All right.
We talked about who's winning this big dance, who's winning the big dance, and I mean, we could pretend we don't know.
Why don't you go first, since this whole thing has been for you to cheer your alma mater? Go ahead.
So I know you guys know I'm a USC fan. I'm really happy they made it into the tournament. I hope that they do well, but basketball is a Kentucky thing. It's a Kentucky institution, and Kentucky does best when it's underrated, so UK is taking this whole thing down.
Number 4 seed,
hey,
UK.
You've seen crazier things. I don't think Ohio State's as great as people say they are. That's the number 1 seed that we're going to face. UK, all the way. Go Cats.
All right, you go UK. I'm going KU.
You contrarian thorn in my side. Did you just reverse the initials? You didn't even bother thinking of anything?
Just a happy accident. In my blood, I got University of Georgia Bulldogs, UCLA Bruins, University of Michigan Wolverines, but they're all 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds. They're all kind of in there. So really a long shot to win. But Kansas University, last year I did a 50-state road trip. Stopped, Kansas, go KU, Jayhawks. Stopped at the campus, and my dog, it's a long story, was made an honorary Jayhawk last year. So got to root for the honorary blood in my family.
Is it sunny outside? Because you're such a fair weather fan.
No, see, they also have something to prove for last year's early exit. So they're coming, their motivation is at a peak.
Well, they also are from Kansas, which gives them a lot to prove as well.
Oh, yes, says the one from Kentucky.
Hey, basketball's all we have.
Yes, I will give you that.
Basketball and horses.